What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the latest channel. Today we're talking for the first time ever about the England national team. Now, in the coming week, England are playing their first games of 2020 in the Nations League against Denmark and Iceland. However, some of the decisions made by Gareth Southgate in the squad have been slightly questionable. So today, I'm running you through some of my thoughts on who I would pick if I was England manager. Now, this is just my opinion, so don't get too triggered, but I hope you enjoy it nonetheless. Let's dive right into the action. We're going to kick it off with the goalkeepers. Now, in goal, I have to say I agree with what he's gone for. I think Dean Henderson deserves to be the #1 pick in goal. He's had a really good season with Sheffield and could become the #1 at Manchester United. Then, I also agree that Nick Pope should be the #2 and that Jordan Pickford should be the #3. There aren't a huge amount of options that we could have for goalkeepers. We could go for like a huge alternative like a Ben Foster or a Tom Heaton, but I don't feel like either of them deserve a spot more than Pickford. So for that reason, although he can be a little bit erratic at times, I think it's good to have a little bit of spice, a little bit of kick off the bench that can really make an impact. So goalkeepers, I think he did a pretty good job and a pretty simple job, to be honest. Now, left back, a bit more of a complicated position. In real life, not a single left back was picked, which I've got to say I find very, very strange indeed. However, I'm going to take two. Now, if I could have James Milner, I would put him in the squad, as I think he's a really good utility player that would play as the backup left back to, of course, our first choice, Ben Chilwell, and he can also play in the midfield and has a really good footballing attitude. However, he is retired, so instead my backup is going to be Bukayo Saka. Bit of an interesting choice. A lot of Arsenal fans are always talking very highly about him, and I do like him. He can play left back or left wing, making him another utility player where we can play him in multiple positions, giving us options across the pitch. And most simply, he is a backup to Ben Chilwell. He's nice and young. I believe he is 19 if I'm correct, so, or maybe a little about that, 20. So he's got plenty of time to improve, and I think a bit of experience would be good for him. Centre-backs, I have kept Harry Maguire in this squad. I wouldn't put him in this week's squad because of the controversy, but in normal situations I would, and hopefully the issues get resolved and he can be back sooner rather than later. So, first up, as I said, Harry Maguire walks into the team. But alongside him, you've got a lot of options. There are two that I really could have picked, James Tarkowski and Lewis Dunk, both of whom I think maybe deserve a chance in friendlies to prove their worth, but I'm not going to put them into these squads. For the reason being, we have four that are going to go in ahead for me. Firstly, Joe Gomez. Now you may say, carried a bit by Van Dijk, but again, a young defender can only get better and kind of counteracts Maguire as the big stocky defender versus the slightly quicker defender that he is. So I think altering play styles is very important at the back, giving different values, especially as we're no longer running a 3-back situation. Then, I think many few is not good English either. Tyrone Mings is what I'm trying to say. Few would disagree that Tyrone Mings deserves to get into the squad, so he too is going to get a place in my team. I don't know whether I put him first 11, it's between him and Gomez for that second spot in the defence. So I expect those two will play hopefully in the Denmark and Iceland games this weekend. And my final pick is an interesting one. I said Tarkowski, I haven't picked Stones. Instead, I'm going to go for Mason Holgate. Now, a bit of an outside the box pick, but he can play at centre back and at right back. So another good utility option in the fact that he can play across the pitch. Furthermore, I've heard a lot of good things. When I listen to commentators talking about him and analysts talking about him, I've heard a lot of good stuff. Everton, albeit didn't have the greatest season, but he's not playing in a particularly strong back line. You've got Yerry Mina, I suppose, so I think he deserves a lot of credit for the way that he's played, and he offers a similar style to Gomez in that respect, so he's going to be my final centre-back choice. Then we have the right-backs. Trent Alexander-Arnold, easy pick as you like, but alongside him, there's so many options. Trippier, Walker, James, the ones coming to play. Max Aarons is another option. There's so many players that could go in that position. And I was kind of torn, but in the end, I decided to go for experience. I thought, Kyle Walker is still a top defender, even if at times he doesn't get ahead of Cancelo in the City team. I think he's still our second best right back, some would argue the best right back if you're not a fan of Trent's attacking style of play. And also, again, he can play utility going into a centre-back in a 3-back role. And he brings experience. He's another one of those players like Pickford, like you're going to see Jordan Henderson, that brings a lot of experience. He's got 48 caps for England. And I think just about beats out the likes of Reece James, who I'm a huge fan of, and Wan-Bissaka. Huge fan of Reece James, but I've just pipped him out. Although maybe you want to bring him in as an experience in this one scenario. Now, onto the midfield. I've gone for 7 midfields, 3 defensive, 3 attacking, and then 1 in the middle. It can kind of go either way. So we'll start off simple. A man that really should have been in the squad in the first place, Jordan Henderson. I don't know why he wasn't in the squad, whether I don't think he's injured at the moment, or whether they just want to experiment, I expect. But Henderson for me is one of the first names on the team sheet, and I'd be very surprised long term and at Euro 2021 now if he isn't in the squad. Then 2 more CDMs. I like the Kalvin Phillips call. Big fan of him. I think he looks really, really good from what I've seen in clips and stuff. I don't know too much, but I think giving a chance to the Championship, why not? It's a different opportunity, a different playing ground, and he's won the league. He's coming up to the Premier League, so I think he deserves a spot in the team. And then my 3rd pick is going to be Declan Rice. I think, yeah, do I rate him as highly as some others do? Do I want him to go to Chelsea? No. Do I think he's worth 40 million? No. But do I think he should be in the squad? Yes. I think he's good enough to have earned his spot there. And it's probably the 2nd pick if we went for a 2 in midfield in the DM spot alongside Henderson, just beating out Kalvin Phillips. Now, the midfielder in the middle, he can kind of play anyway. He can play on the wings if really needed, mainly an attacking / central midfielder. Another Liverpool man, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, often gets thrown under the bus as a forgotten player, but to be fair, he brings a lot of qualities to the squad. He's very, very experienced, having been playing since a very young age, and he's a Champions League winner as well, to be fair. So I think, and the Premier League winner, I think he's done a lot. I think he doesn't always get the credit. It's between him and Loftus-Cheek for this position. I feel Loftus-Cheek hasn't had enough game time to deserve the spot, so I'm giving it to Alex. And then we've got 3 attacking mids. They could go out on the wings, but mainly they're more central players. None of them picked by the England team. I'm not taking Phil Foden. I am going to take Mason Mount, but not as a first choice. In many cases, I would pick Dele Alli, but because these are kind of half friendlies, I want to give Mount a go, and he's the only man in this squad that I wouldn't put into my current 23 for England. And if you can take 24, I would take Mount as probably my 24. Probably not, actually. I probably wouldn't, but Mount is the one switch. Mount coming in for Ali, as Ali hasn't done a lot, and I think Mount deserves a bit of a chance to get some experience. And then, I think 2 pretty easy picks, to be honest. Jack Grealish obviously deserves to be in the team. 36 games this season. He's got plenty of Premier League experience, way more than Phil Foden has, or Mason Mount. I don't know why he's been out, or Greenwood if you want to go back to like a centre forward role. Way more experience than so many in the team, deserves a spot 100%, and has been absolutely robbed. And then finally, James Maddison. Another one I find weird that isn't in the team, a top player that deserves to, probably, I would say, be in the starting 11. If you were to go for a 4-3 in the midfield, you probably could go for Henderson, Grealish and Maddison as a well-respected option with a trio up front of who you'll see in a minute. So they are my 7 midfielders to run through one more time. Henderson, Phillips, Rice, Chamberlain, Maddison, Grealish and Mount, with Dele Alli swapping in as an alternate. And now finally we have the forwards. Forwards is a tough, well actually it's not tough, what am I on about? It's bollocks. It's probably the easiest position a lot. We've got 4 positions. I pick 5 forwards as a general rule. 5 forwards is enough for me, I think. So Kane, easy pick. Sterling, easy pick. Sancho, easy pick. And Rashford, easy pick. That's 4 spots down already. Then you've got 1 more spot. I'm not taking Abraham. I'm not going to take Greenwood. I'm going to take Danny Ings. He's had a great season, a different option, someone that their teams may not expect to come up against, as he's kind of been in and out of the squad, never really been in the team since he crashed onto the scene back at Burnley all those years ago. And I think it's something fresh and new to try. Abraham and Greenwood are going to be around for ages. If they need to come into the squad at some stage, they can, but Ings is the present. He was really strong, and obviously Vardy would be awesome if we could have him, but I can't see him coming out of retirement either. So it makes sense. Ings had an excellent season, so I think he gets that final spot in the team. So to round up the whole squad, in goal, Henderson, Pope and Pickford. Defenders of Chilwell, Saka, Maguire, Mings. My brain is gone. Holgate, Gomez, Walker and Trent Alexander-Arnold. Midfielders, Henderson, Phillips, Rice, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Maddison, Grealish and Mount. And then forwards of Sterling, Rashford, Kane, Sancho and Danny Ings. That would be my 23-man squad. Leave what you guys think in the comments down below. Is there anybody that I've dropped that you think really deserves a spot in the team? Is there anyone that hasn't been mentioned in the slightest that really should be in the team? And is there anyone that I picked that you think is bollocks and doesn't deserve to be there in the slightest? Now, one thing I'd like to say before we sign off today, apologies, it's going to be a 2-week upload. I wanted to have something on Tuesday, but I didn't really have anything available. I was hoping something Formula 1 related would come up, but nothing really did. There's going to be a Thursday and Saturday upload this week, and there'll be 3 back usual next week, and I'm trying to get into the rhythm. Other than that, I hope you guys had enjoyed. Go to subscribe, road to 100 subs and 1,000 by my 19th. Until next time, peace!
I say boom boom boom, now everybody say well.